Hello everyone, this is K. Nagaraju, contract lecturer in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Government Polytechnic for Women Nizamabad, from Department of Technical Education, Telangana. Today I am going to explain the one more important topic is the FET input voltmeter, the construction and operation of the FET input voltmeter. The FET means field effect transistor is a voltage control device, and also we are discussing the drift problem in the FET voltmeter. Here the main objectives of this particular presentation, we are having the content like on the completion of this period you will able to know the voltmeter, ammeter, ohm meter sections of the multimeter. Generally here the voltmeter is used to measure the voltage between the two terminals of any electrical circuits. We are measuring the voltage with the help of voltmeter. Here we are having the one more session is the ammeter. Generally the ammeter is used to measure the current, and also we are having the one more instrument is the ohm meter. This is used to measure the resistance. That means these three are individual instruments, measuring instrument for measuring the particular quantities. That means the particular parameter. The multimeter is used to measure the multiple parameters. With the help of multimeter, we are measuring the voltage, current, and resistance value, and the identification of the transistor terminals, etc. That means the multiple operations or the multiple measurements can be done with the help of multimeter. That's why the name is called as the multimeter. After then we understood the use of FET input voltmeter, and know the construction of the FET input voltmeter, the construction of the FET input voltmeter, and know the operation of the input voltmeter, and the drift problem in the input voltmeter. These are the main objectives of this particular presentation. In the previous class we already studied about the loading effect on the voltmeter. Based on that we are taking the high input resistance, then only we are nullifying the loading effect in the voltmeters. And also we are using the one example for the different impedances or the different resistors we are used to observe the loading effect in the voltmeter circuits. Here one small objective like a multimeter, generally in any measuring instruments we are using the moment like a D'Arsonval moment we are using. Here the ammeter, the voltmeter and ohm meters all use the D'Arsonval moment. The difference between these instruments in the circuit in which the basic moment is used. Hence, a single instrument can be designed to perform these measurement functions. The instrument which contains a function switch to connect the appropriate circuits to the D'Arsonval moment is called as the multimeter. That is with the help of multimeter what we are doing, we are measuring the current, we are measuring the voltage, we are measuring the resistance. That means the multiple parameters can be measured with the help of multimeter. What we are using in the ohm meters and voltmeters and ammeter, the same phenomena, the same moment we are using in the multimeters also. That is the concept of multimeter. After then our main topic is the FET input voltmeter. Our main topic is the FET input voltmeter. Generally it is an electronic type voltmeter. It is an electronic type voltmeter. Why? Because this is the electronic type voltmeter, because here we are using the voltmeter construction with the help of the electronic based components, like the standard components we are using. Here we are using the FET, as well as we are using the BJT. The FET is the field effective transistor, that is, the transistor is the electronic component. Here we are using the main part of electronic component is the FET. The FET is the voltage control device, and also we are using the potential meter to divide the ratio of resistance. In this particular instrument we are using the potentiometer, as well as we are using the emitter follower, that is the source follower, we are like a BJT we are using. That means we are separating the voltmeter with a different sections, then we are getting some desired output or the desired parameters we are measured. That is the importance of using the FET input voltmeter. That means we are getting the accurate result, as well as the less economical cost. That means the generally the electronics components is the very less cost, and also it is used to measure an unknown voltage. With the help of FET input voltmeter, we are measuring the unknown voltage. Here the circuit of the FET voltmeter circuit is shown in the figure. Here we are having the basic DC voltmeter circuit with FET input. Here we are using the different sections, like here this is the input voltage. Here we are using the three resistors, like 3 mega ohms, 900 kilo ohms and 100 kilo ohms. Here we are using the different range of voltages, like 0.5 volts, 5 volts and 50 volts. This is the range selection. That is the here this is the one part. After then here we are using to attenuate the current, we are using the high resistance across the gate, we are using the 1 mega ohm resistance. This is the FET. At the source we are connected the source follower, we are connected the transistor, the emitter follower section. Here we are using the calibration section as well as the zero adjuster. That means these are the configurations or the division of the FET input voltmeter. Here the main topic of the input voltmeter, generally the FET input voltmeter decreases the amount of power drawn from the circuit under the test by increasing the input impedance using an amplifier with a unity gain. The input voltmeter decreases the amount of power drawn from the circuit, under the test by increasing the input impedance. Here increasing the input impedance using the amplifier with a unity gain. And a source follower drives an emitter follower, This combination is capable of the 1000 or more increase in the impedance, while maintaining a voltage gain of very nearly 1. The input impedance of this meter is the 10 mega ohms. Based on this concept, the concept of the FET input voltmeter, we are constructing the FET input voltmeter. Generally, the FET input voltmeter circuit can be divided into three sections. One is the ranging attenuation section. This is the ranging attenuation section. Second one is the FET source follower section and the bridge circuit we are classifying, we are separating the three sections of the FET input voltmeter. One is the ranging attenuation section, and second one is the FET source follower, third one is the bridge circuit. Here we are having the few points about this particular circuit. Here the basic, that means that the circuit can be divided into three sections like the range attenuation section, the source follower section and bridge circuit. First one is the range attenuation section. It is a potential divider circuit with three resistors are connected in series. It is a potential divider circuit. With three resistors are connected in series. The section is used to select the desired range of the voltage 500 millivolts, 50 millivolts and 5 millivolts and 50 millivolts. That means this section is used to select the desired range of the voltages, like here 0.5, that is the 50 millivolts, 5 volts and 50 volts. And here the ranging attenuation section is nothing but the potential divider circuit with the three resistors are connected in series. The section is used to select the desired range of the voltages like 500 millivolts, 5 volts and 50 volts ranges. And the range attenuation section, here one pole three-way rotary switch is connected to select the required range of voltage. Here we are having the switch arrangement to select the desired voltage range. Like here I am showing the help of sketch, like the rotary switch like selection are selected like that. That means in this way we are selecting the desired voltage. Then here the point is, here a one pole three rotary switch is used to select the required range of voltage, and the rotary switch is connected to the FET by 1 mega ohm resistor used to limit the gate current. Why? Because here if you are using the very less resistance value, that is the gate current is very high, it damages the FET circuit. That's why to limit the current of the gate, we are using the high resistance is connected to the gate terminal. Here a one pole three-way switch is used to select the required range of voltage, and the rotary switch is connected to the gate of the FET by means of 1 mega ohm resistor, which is used to limit the gate current, thereby preventing any damage to the FET. After then the source follower section. Here the transistor 1 is connected in source follower configuration and Q2 transistor acts as its load, is shown in the figure. Here this is the transistor 1, like is the FET, here the transistor 2. Here the source is connected to the base of the transistor. Then This is the source follower. This is the source follower. The transistor Q1 is connected in source follower configuration and Q2 transistor act as its load. A source follower drives an emitter follower, that is the BJT. A source follower drives an emitter follower, BJT, the bipolar junction transistor. A source follower configuration is used to provide the impedance matching, thus delivering the maximum power to the load and thereby providing the higher accuracy. The important point here, the source follower configuration is used to provide impedance matching, thus delivering the maximum power to the load, thereby providing the higher accuracy. That is the main point. Here what happens, the source follower configuration is used to provide the impedance matching. That means to match the input impedance to the load impedance, we are getting the maximum power at the load terminal. As for maximum power transfer theorem, the maximum power transfer theorem, it states that the input impedance is equal to the load impedance, not load impedance, load resistance. The maximum power is delivered to the load in terms of resistance. That is called as the impedance matching. If the circuit is matched, impedance is matched, then we are getting the maximum response or the maximum output can be delivered to the load, thus delivering the maximum power. That is called as the maximum power transfer theorem. In terms of impedance, the input impedance is the complex conjugate of load impedance, then maximum power is delivered to the load terminal. That is the concept of maximum power transfer theorem. Here the same criteria we are following, that means the same concept of the maximum power transfer theorem. The source follower configuration is used to provide the impedance matching, thus delivering the maximum power to the load and thereby providing the higher accuracy. Next one is the bridge circuit. Here third one is the third section is the bridge circuit. I am showing with the help of circuitry. This is the bridge. Like here we are having the one dot. Here we are having the one dot. Here dot. Here one terminal. This is another terminal. This is another terminal. Look like a bridge. Look like a bridge circuit. Okay. Bridge circuit. The transistor Q2, it emits its emitter resistance of 10 kilo ohms. 10 kilo ohms. Here we are connected 10 kilo ohms. 10 kilo ohms. Here we are having with the help of pointer I am showing 10 kilo ohms here, and 2.5 kilo ohms of potentiometer, 2.5 resistance of potentiometer for zero adjustment, and the potentiometer and 2.2 resistance act as the 4 arms of the bridge. The 4 arms of the bridge, here, here, here. 2.2 kilo ohms of resistor, 10 kilo ohms of resistor, and the zero adjustment of the potentiometer, we are having the resistance. That is like a bridge circuit, like a bridge circuit. The transistor Q2, its emitter resistance of 10 kilo ohms, the 2.5 kilo ohms of potentiometer, and the 2.2 kilo ohms act as the 4 arms of the bridge circuit, and a 10 kilo ohms of calibration potentiometer and microammeter is connected between the diagonal point of the bridge. Here we are connected. Here the calibration we are using the 10 kilo ohms, as well as here we are connected the ammeter with the range of 0 to 50 microamps of DC. Like here the bridge circuit, like a 10 kilo ohms of calibration potentiometer and microammeters are connected between the diagonal point of the bridge. The power supply is connected to the circuit by means of switch. Here the power supply is connected, by means of switch. Here we are having the switch. This is the bridge circuit. That means basically we are observing the three main important points of this FET input voltmeter. The first one is the range attenuation section. The range attenuation section is used to select the desired range of voltage can be selected with the help of the range attenuation. The range, that means what type of range of voltage we are measuring, that can be selected by the range attenuation section. And also to attenuate the current, the gate current, then we are using the high resistance is connected across the FET gate terminal. Second one is the source follower section. The source follower section is nothing but a emitter follower. The source terminal of the FET is connected to the base of the transistor. Then here the source follower to match the impedance, then we are getting it provides the maximum response or the maximum power delivered to the load terminal, that is connected as a load. The transistor is connected to the FET as a load terminal. That is the use of to providing the impedance matching. The third one is the bridge circuit. The bridge circuit arrangement of this particular circuit, like the zero adjuster is connected, and also we are connected the emitter resistance. The emitter resistance we are connected the one ammeter, as well as the another terminal for the source supply of the circuit. That is like is the form of bridge circuits. In this way we are constructing the FET input voltmeter. We are constructing the FET input voltmeter. This is the main part of the construction of the FET input voltmeter. Next one is the working of FET input voltmeter. The working of the FET input voltmeter. Initially, to apply the power supply to the circuit, when switch S is closed in the test terminal of T1 and T2 are shorted, the unknown voltage to be measured applied between the terminals of T1 and T2, the working FET input voltmeter is divided into three parts. Like based on this circuit, I am again showing the circuit here. The unknown voltage is connected across this particular terminals, then switch is here. That means initially to apply the power supply, here we are initially applying the power supply to the circuit when switch S is closed. When the switch S is closed and the test terminals, here these are the test terminals. The test terminals T1 and T2 are shorted. The unknown voltage to be measured applied between the terminals of T1 and T2. Based on that, we are dividing the three parts of the working. Like here, the working of the input voltmeter, we are divided into three sections, like zero adjustment, calibration, actual measurement. Actual measurement. Here, the zero adjustment. Based on that, here when the switch S is closed, when the switch S is closed for the power supply to the circuit and the test terminals T1 and T2 are shorted, here with the help of diagram I am explaining for the zero adjustment. Here when the switch S is closed, for the power supply to the circuit and the test terminals T1 and T2 are shorted. As the two test terminals T1 and T2 is short circuited, there is no current drawn in the FET. There is no current drawn in the FET. Thus, there is no emitter current flowing in the transistor T2 or the transistor Q2. Therefore, the microammeter which is connected between the points of bridge should shows the zero reading. The zero reading, this is called as the zero adjustment. What is zero adjustment? Here again I am repeating the same point, the zero adjustment. When the switch S is closed for the power supply to the circuit, the test terminal T1 and T2 are shorted. As two test terminals T1 and T2 are short circuited, there is no current drawn in the FET. There is no current drawn in the FET. Thus, there is no emitter current flowing to the transistor. There is no current flowing to the transistor. Therefore, the microammeter which is connected the points of the bridge should be shows the zero reading. It shows the zero reading. This is zero adjustment. This is zero adjustment. With the help of points here we are discussing. The first select the required range of the voltage by the rotary switch, then the short the two test terminals. When the switch S is closed, the drain current and hence the emitter current flows in the transistor Q2. The microammeter shows the some reading. In order to make ammeter to indicate the zero deflection, the zero adjustment pot is carefully adjusted. The bridge circuit is balanced in this particular position. That means the same thing. Whatever we are measuring, that is connected across the test terminals. That is the first select the required range of voltage by the rotary switch, then short the two input terminals. When the switch S is closed for the power supply, the drain current and hence the emitter current flows in the transistor Q2. The microammeter shows the some reading. In order to make the ammeter to indicate the zero deflection, the zero adjustment pot is carefully adjusted. The bridge circuit is balanced in this particular. That means whenever the bridge circuit is balanced, it shows the zero. And second one is the calibration. The calibration. Now the short circuit between the two test terminals is replaced by the known voltage. In the test condition we are short circuited. Here what we are doing at the calibration stage, the short circuit between the two test terminals is replaced by a known voltage source of 500 millivolts. The 500 millivolts voltage range is selected by means of range switch, that is the rotary switch. The unknown voltage source causes the current to flow in the drain of the FET. This causes the emitter current to flow in the transistor. This result the voltage drop across the emitter Re, emitter resistance Re. This causes the deflection in the microammeter. The 10 kilo calibration potentiometer is adjusted until the meter shows the full scale deflection. Now the meter is ready for the actual measurement. With the help of diagram I am explaining this particular part like a calibration. Here it shows the circuit. I am repeating again. The short circuit between the two test terminals is replaced by a known voltage source. Known voltage source is connected. The known voltage source is the 500 millivolts. Known voltage source is the 500 millivolts here. 500 millivolts. The 500 millivolt voltage range is selected by means of the range of rotary switch. With the help of this rotary switch, we have selected the required range of the known voltage. The known voltage source causes the current to flow in the drain of the FET. This causes the emitter current to flow in the transistor T2. This result in the voltage drop across the emitter resistance RA. The emitter resistance here RA. This causes the deflection in the microammeter. The 10 kilo ohms of resistance calibration potentiometer is adjusted until the meter shows the full scale deflection. Now the meter is ready for actual measurement. With the help of points, I am again explaining this particular point: calibration. The short circuit between the two terminals is replaced by a known voltage source. The 500 millivolts voltage range is selected by the rotary switch. The known voltage causes some current to flow in the transistor Q2. This result in the voltage drop across the emitter resistance RE. The same points again I am repeating. This causes the deflection in the microammeter. The 10 kilo ohm calibration pot is adjusted until the meter shows the full scale deflection. Now the meter is ready for measurement. This is the calibration part. Next one is the actual measurement. Apply the unknown voltage between the two test terminals Q1 and Q2, not tester T1 and T2. Here apply the unknown voltage between the test terminals T1 and T2. The microammeter then deflects in proportional to the unknown voltage. That means how much voltage we are connected across the test terminals, the same amount of, that means is equal amount of deflection is presented in the microammeter. That is the actual measurement. If the rotary switch is in 500 millivolts range, the reading can add directly. If it is in a 5 volts range, the reading should be multiplied by the 10 times. And if it is in 50 volts range, the reading should be multiplied by the 10. And if it is 50 volts, sorry, again this point is repeated here. The one thing is, if the rotary switch is connected with the 500 millivolts, that means this directly we are getting the 500. If you are selected the 5 volts of range, the reading should be multiplied by the 10 times. If it is 50 volts range, the reading should be multiplied by the 100 times. That means if the ranges increases, the reading it shows the multiplied with the 10, multiplied with 100. Because of the same value can be reflected at the multimeter. That is the actual measurement. Again we are having the point is the principle of AC input voltmeter. For measuring the AC voltages, the AC voltage is converted into DC voltage with the help of rectifier. That is the main intention is for the DC is with the help of DC measurement. We are using the FET input voltmeter. If you want to measure the AC, then we are using the rectifier. That means whatever we are required for changing of AC to DC, we require the rectifier. That is for measuring AC voltages, the AC voltage is converted into DC voltage with the help of rectifier. The rectified DC voltage is applied at the input terminals of the FET input voltmeter. With the help of diagram, it shows the the conversion of AC to DC. That means here AC input rectifier, the FET input voltmeter, then here we are getting the DC. That is the concept of conversion of the AC to DC. This is the principle of FET input voltmeter for the conversion. And also here I am going to explain the few points about the advantages and the disadvantages of the FET input voltmeter. Generally, the main advantage of the FET input voltmeter, the high accuracy and high selectivity. Because of here I am using the FET as well as the transistor, that is the emitter follower. That's why it gives the high accuracy and high sensitivity, and also is the high input impedance. It provides the high input impedance, that is it nullify the loading effect in the FET input voltmeter, and there is no loading effect because of it provides the high input impedance, then there is no loading effect, and the power consumption is very low. These are the main important advantage of the FET input voltmeter. Generally in a 2 marks questions they are asking what is the advantage of FET input voltmeter. That means the high accuracy and high sensitivity provided by the FET input voltmeter, and the high input impedance, and there is no loading effect, and the power consumption is very low in the FET input voltmeter. And disadvantages, generally the disadvantage is nothing but here one is the generally it is used for only the DC measurement. Second one is the balancing of the bits, that is the balance of the bits is affected by any change in the parameters of the transistor. If your transistor, if any parameter is changed, automatically the bit balancing condition will be modified. That is the one of the disadvantage. And second one is it can be measured only the DC voltages. These are the disadvantage of the FET input voltmeter. FET input voltmeter. And one more important topic is here only the drift problem in the FET voltmeter. The drift problem in the FET voltmeter. An instrument is said to have the no drift if it is reproduces the same readings at different times for the same variation in the measured variable. An instrument is said to have no drift. It reproduces the same reading at different times of the same variation in the measured variable. The zero drift is defined as the deviation in the instrument output with the time from its zero value when the variable to be measured is constant. The zero drift means the zero drift is defined as the deviation in the instrument output with the time from its zero value when the variable to be measured is constant. The whole instrument calibration may gradually shift by the same amount, that is the zero drift. The drift is gradually shift of the instrument indication over an extended period during which the input variable does not change. The drift is undesirable. When the drift is undesirable, the drift is the gradual shift of the instrument indication over an extended period during which the input variable does not change. The drift is undesirable. There are many environmental factors which affect the drift. These factors are stray electric field, stray magnetic field, temperature changes, and containing of the metal, etc. Based on that, the drift problems may be presented in the measuring instruments. The drawback of FET voltmeter is that it has to work under specified ambient temperature to get the required accuracy, otherwise excessive drift problem occurs during the operation. The drawback of the FET voltmeter is that it has to work under specified ambient temperature to get the required accuracy, otherwise excessive drift problem occurs during the operation. The drift in ordinary instrument is of the order of millivolts, hence the range is limited to few hundred millivolts range. But in a chopper amplifier, as the drift is very small, the voltages in the microvolts can be measured with good accuracy limits. The drawback of the FET voltmeter is that it has work under specified ambient temperature to get the required accuracy, otherwise excessive drift problem occurs during the operation. And the drift in ordinary instruments is of the order of millivolts, hence the range is limited to few hundred millivolts only. But in the chopper amplifier, the drift is very small, the voltage in microvolts can be measured with the good accuracy limits. This is the drift problem based on the temperature or the variation of the transistor. These are the different factors can be occurred for changing of the output in the measuring instruments. That is the drift problem. Based on this, in the summary, we have discussed about the voltmeter, ammeter, ohmmeter sections of the multimeter, the FET voltmeter, and the description of the FET voltmeter circuit and the working of the FET voltmeter. Here we are having the few quiz related questions like FET input voltmeter. The first question is, in the FET voltmeter, the gate terminal is connected to. If you are observe the circuit diagram of the FET input voltmeter, in the FET voltmeter, the gate terminal is connected to capacitor, inductor, ammeter or 1 ohm resistor. What is your answer? Your answer is 1 mega ohm resistor. Why? Why 1 mega ohms resistor? Because of to limit the current, gate current, then we are connected the high resistance is connected to the gate terminal of the FET. Then only it limits the current. If you are connected the capacitor, there is no use. If you are connected the inductor, there is no use. If you are connected the ammeter, there is no use. But if you are connected the resistance with a low resistance, there is no use. You have to connect the high resistance is connected to the gate terminal of the FET, then only it limits the current. The high gain current can be limited by the high resistance is connected across to the FET input gate terminal. In the FET voltmeter, the gate terminal is connected to 1 mega ohm resistor. This is the answer. Second one of the advantage of the FET input voltmeter is, we are already discussed the different advantages, that means the different points about the input advantage of the FET input voltmeter. The main important is it's having the high accuracy, which having the high sensitivity, and which having the high input impedance, which having the no loading effect, and the power consumption is very low. These are the main advantage of the FET input voltmeter. The first advantage is the high accuracy, no option. High sensitivity is there, and loading effect, no loading effect, but here they are giving the loading effect. That means the loading effect is present, they are giving, but loading effect is not present. That means loading effect is not there in the circuit. And sensitivity is high, here the sensitivity is high, none of this cancel. That means the answer is high sensitivity. That means the advantage, high accuracy, high sensitivity, high input impedance, no loading effect, and power consumption is very low. These are the advantages of the FET input voltmeter. Based on that, our answer is the high sensitivity. And here the frequently asked questions in the examination, generally they are asking the construction, that is these are the important for the examination point of view. Explain the construction of the FET voltmeter. Explain the construction. The construction means here you have to focus the three important points, like zero adjustment. Here we are having the range attenuation section, the source follower section, and bridge circuit. This is the construction related part. The construction of the DC voltmeter with the FET input. Here we have to observe here the range attenuation section. With the help of three resistors are connected in series for the potential division. We are using the three different ranges of the voltages. With the help of this range rotary switch, we are connecting the range, what are the requirements of the voltages. And also here we are connected the gate terminal of the FET is connected with the high input impedance, and here the source of the FET is connected to the transistor, and the emitter source follower is nothing but emitter follower of the transistor. And after then here we are having the bridge arrangement. These are the construction part of the DC voltmeter with the FET input. That is the important question asking in the examination. This is the first question, that is the explain the construction of the FET voltmeter. That means you have to draw the input voltmeter circuit, FET input volt circuit, and also you have to draw the three sections, like range attenuation section, the source follower section, as well as the bridge circuit, the balancing of the bridge, and how to we are connected the potential division and source follower and bridge arrangements. All these are related to the construction of the FET voltmeter, and this is the one of the important question asked in the examination based on this particular measuring instruments. The second one is the working of the FET voltmeter. In a working point of view, you have to draw the circuit diagram, as well as the draw the and discuss about the working of three important sections of the zero adjustment, calibration, and actual measurement. These three sections under the working of the FET input voltmeter. The FET input voltmeter, like here we are already discussed about the working of the FET input voltmeter, like three sections. You have to draw the circuit also. In the working of the FET input voltmeter, you have to draw the circuit, then discuss about the working condition. That means the working parts you have to discuss about the zero adjustment, calibration, and actual measurement. These are under the working of the FET input voltmeter. After then, next one is the explain the working of the multimeter with circuit diagram. That means what is multimeter, how they are connected. These are related to multimeter section. And also one more important question asked in the examination, the drift problem in the FET input voltmeter. How the drift problem is presented in the, what are the conditions, like zero, high, the zero drift and actual drift, and high drift. What is the condition for the FET input voltmeter, like ambient temperature, specified ambient temperatures only it gives the desired output. These are the related to the drift problems in the FET input voltmeter. This is the one of the important for analysis point of view they are asking in the examination, that is the drift problem in the FET input voltmeter. And also one of the important frequently asked question is the advantages and disadvantages of the FET input voltmeter. The advantages and disadvantages of the FET input voltmeter also one of the important question asked in the examination in the short type questions like 2 marks or 3 marks questions. These are the frequently asked questions in the examination. And here in this particular presentation we are clearly observe the topic is the FET input voltmeter. What is FET input voltmeter? And also we discussed about the what is the construction of the FET input voltmeter and what is the working principle of the FET input voltmeter, working principle, construction. And also we discussed about the main important problems faced in the FET input voltmeter, the drift problem in the FET input voltmeter. And also we discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of the FET input voltmeter. These are the topics I covered in this particular presentation. I think here again I am showing the all the PPTs like here. These are the main concept of this particular FET input voltmeter. In this particular in this like based on this class we understand the FET voltmeter, the description of the FET voltmeter circuits and working of the FET voltmeter, and the drift problem of the FET input voltmeter, and also advantages and disadvantages of the FET input voltmeter. I hope all of you understood this particular topic. Thank you one and all. Have a great day. Thank you.